Hello, and my name is Pete Rushmer, and I'm your host today of A Half Dozen Things podcast. A Half Dozen Things is a podcast for business owners just like you. Whether you're an underdog hungry for success, or you're already smashing it but want to continue to level up, we are here each week for you to get insight and learning from the very best in the business. No fluff, no BS, and no self-proclaimed gurus talking about how easy business or life is.
Hello and welcome to today's podcast on workplace initiatives. So I speak to lots of business owners, clients, leaders in different organizations. And one of the challenges that I find that they face is that they do all this good stuff. They do lots of good stuff, lots of good work for their team, their colleagues, their employees, but they don't really tend to be able to measure or know exactly what it is that's working. So first of all, what workplace initiatives do you offer? Because it's important to offer good workplace initiatives. So some ideas that I've had are around offering flexible working hours where possible. And that can help improve job satisfaction and productivity because people have the flexibility to be able to have a great personal and professional life balance. Now, that doesn't work in all industries, and I'm sure there's many people listening who work in some industries where they're just rolling their eyes, right? Because it doesn't work for everyone. But wherever possible, it's becoming increasingly important for people to be able to balance their personal and professional lives and be able to work around child sports day, kids' performances at school, having their dogs at home, having their dogs at the office, so those kinds of things, right? The other thing that I'm seeing increasingly important to people is remote working opportunities. Now, there's many people who like to be able to work from home, and it gives people the opportunity sometimes to be more productive. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of remote working for team members. I think that a collaborative office-based or workplace-based environment is the best place for the best work to get done, and I'm a big advocate for that because that's where learning takes place. People can become very isolated. It seems like a great idea to work from home, but in reality, there's very few people that really works well for. However, let's see. Some people that might be a good option. So it's a tool in I'm going to give a list of stuff to look at from a workplace initiative perspective, and that's one of the tools in the box. And it doesn't necessarily apply to everyone. And I don't think that businesses should feel pressurized into providing remote working opportunities if it's not the right thing for their business. Okay, so. The third is around professional development programs. So this is really important, making sure we invest in employees' growth, making sure that they become stronger and more resilient, improve through different workshops, those kinds of things. I think regular lunch and learns and those kinds of things, short, sharp information, podcasts, things like that, promoting people professionally developing in their workplace is really important, as well as wellness programs. So that's the fourth thing around, different wellness programs, making sure that people have like mental health days. You have a sort of one of the things I put into place or suggest people putting into place is like a recognition program around, that's sort of the next thing, really. I'll move that on to that as the next thing. But from a wellness perspective, what can we do around mental health days, yoga sessions, making sure there's healthy snacks in the workplace, promoting healthy food rather than less healthy food, focusing on employee wellness, potentially gym memberships as a perk, those kinds of things, making sure that we're looking after people's wellness, talking about diet, nutrition, exercise, encouraging lunch breaks, encouraging people going out for a walk, having a walking group, something like that. Recognition and rewards is something that I just alluded to. That's the fifth area. So making sure that we give team members shout outs for great work, making sure we've got thank you notes and boosting morale and encouraging excellence through the work that people are doing are really, really important as well. Making sure we have collaborative workspaces. So designing spaces that foster collaboration is really important. And that sort of helps stage better work through breakout areas, open plan offices, making sure we have opportunities for creativity, brainstorming, those kinds of things. Ultimately, workplaces are becoming more complex, and to increase psychological safety, we need to create collaborative workspaces. One of the seventh suggestions is around diversity and inclusion initiatives. So making sure we create workplaces where everyone's feeling valued, making sure we've got a diversity program, inclusive policies, and sensitivity training can enrich workplace culture. So making sure we're starting to look at those kinds of things. Employee feedback systems. So do we have feedback mechanisms where team members can feedback how they feel about things, how things are going, what they think needs improving? Having a suggestion platform for team members to be able to feedback is the eighth area. And the ninth is around sustainable practices. So making sure like going green isn't just good for cost, it isn't good for cost reduction, it isn't necessarily just good for the planet, but it's also good for business, it's good for reducing waste, it's good for our reputation and attracting like-minded people and talent to come and work in our business as well.
Hi, it's Pete from Flagship Partners. We're proud to sponsor a Half Dozen Things podcast. Flagship Partners help their clients become safer, greener, and greater through a range of consultancy and training services. We offer audits through to risk assessments, contracts through to support with managing your culture, all the way from mandatory training through to management training as well. So if you need any support, please do get in touch with Flagship Partners today.
And then the final one is around community engagement. So many clients that we have, they will work with, get their employees to volunteer and participate in different community service initiatives, as well as working for charities and those kinds of things and charity days. So that's 10 ideas, right? 10 workplace initiatives which can help improve attraction of talent, retention of talent, develop the talent that you've got, help improve culture, all those kinds of things. So there's some cool stuff there. One of my suggestions is if you want to, the purpose of this podcast is how do I know if my workplace initiatives are working? So there's some challenges there, because what happens is people will go, right, we're going to set a load of initiatives and we make a load of things happen, and we don't really know what works and what doesn't and what's going to stick and what's going to improve. So one of my suggestions is we pick one or two things and we roll out one or two things and we see what the impact is. And then we roll out a couple of things more. I think having Microsoft Forms, Google Forms are a great feedback mechanism. They're free. So creating a feedback form where people are able to give feedback on what they think is most important to them, what's most meaningful to them, is really, really important. Now, it wouldn't be a Pete Rushmer podcast if I didn't have a suggestion. So one of my key suggestions that I think is really, really vital to understand how workplace initiatives are working is we look at using a motivational map to be able to measure, so we get tangible measurements around people's motivational levels, where they're motivated, so we can work out the best initiatives proactively in the first place that are most applicable to them. And then what we can also do through mapping is we can work out their satisfaction levels around them as well. So this is really the only, if you wanted to go that route, it is the only form you really need to measure people's motivation levels, their engagement levels, and also their levels of satisfaction, because the map is able to do all three of those things for people, or for you as a leader. It can help you understand which wellness initiatives to run, or workplace initiatives to run, not just wellness, sorry, but what workplace initiatives to run, because what you'll do is you'll get a team. One of the things you do is when you do a motivational map, there's the survey and then you get the feedback. And what you can do is you can create team maps. So you put all your people into a team and you can start to work out how your team are motivated. So that will give you indications as to which are going to be the most effective workplace initiatives. And then what you're able to do is look at the satisfaction levels in your team as well as the performance, because it's important to focus on performance. And then you'll be able to measure in 3 to 6 months what the impact and benefit has been without having to ask people directly and without them having to think consciously. You'll be able to do a motivational map, which will actually track those levels of satisfaction. It will track where those motivations are, and it will be able to see the impact that those workplace initiatives are working. Now, that's really important, right? Because workplace initiatives are a big investment. They're really, really, they can be They take time and effort and investment and finances. They will potentially take people away from their day-to-day work, particularly if you're doing things like community engagement, making sure that you're investing in, professional development programs, wellness programs, all of this. There's money, time, and effort involved in doing that. And many businesses can't necessarily afford to throw a load of spaghetti at the wall and hope to see what sticks. So one of my suggestions is if you are looking at workplace initiatives, if you are looking at benefits programs, if you are looking at doing stuff to improve engagement and foster culture through your organization, is to be smart about it, measure it, take some action, take some measured action in the way that you approach it. I'm more than happy to have a chat if this is something that you're interested in doing. If you're looking at introducing workplace initiatives, if you're looking at introducing visions and values, if you're looking to start to help to shape the culture of your organization, let's sit down, have a chat. Let's talk about how motivational maps can help facilitate that effectively and cost effectively to be able to ensure that you get the best return on investment, the best value from those systems, and actually has the most impact with your people as well, because it's really important to know how your people tick, how they're motivated, and their current satisfaction levels with those motivations as well. Really, really vital tool, motivational map, something that I use with my teams, and I can demonstrate, high levels of engagement. We do motivational maps. I then sort out our workplace initiatives off the back of it, and we then do what's called a Gallup 12 engagement survey, and we can start to see exactly the impact that all of the work that we're doing is having. So I hope this podcast has been interesting. It's a bit of a whistle-stop tour of understanding workplace initiatives and how do you know if they're working. I spoke to a business owner recently. He said that they wanted to check, were all these team days having an impact on the team, or would they rather just have the money? And they surveyed the team members, and 30% of the team members said they'd rather have the money. Now the issue was that was an anonymous survey, right? So we know 30% of the team want to just have the money rather than having the team days, but we don't know which 30%. So tricky, right? But let's make sure we're really measured, we're smart in the way that we approach these workplace initiatives. If we're going to have someone champion that, then to make sure that they're well educated around what different initiatives are available to them, what the investment's going to be, and most of all, let's set ourselves up for success by knowing what results, what it is we're aiming to achieve, what the outcomes are going to be, and how we're going to measure that performance, how we're going to achieve those outcomes. Hope this has been useful, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.
I really hope you loved today's episode, and if you did, please make sure you subscribe and listen out for future episodes too. Please do share it across your social media channels. We hope to reach more and help more people. If you want to find out more about me, my name's Pete Rushmer. You'll find me across any social media channel, and my business, Flagship Partners, and we're your partners in success across your business. Thank you. See you again soon.